Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back to talk more comics once again. This time we're stepping away from the X books and we're talking about Venom number 20, the kind of prologue to, or epilogue, sorry, to Absolute Carnage. It's called Oversight Part 2. And in this, we get, the Eddie and Dylan stuff is fine. It's father-son coming together after all of this, and coming together stronger, but probably headed for a very dark fall once Null gets here. In this book, Venom talks about how he ruined the world, really. He chose his son over the rest of the world because that's what fathers and sons do in the comic world. That's what people like to tell themselves. And it's sweet. It's sweet seeing Eddie, and his kid, is kind of saying, like, you didn't protect me, you left me with your dad, why didn't you want me? But he says, like, look, man, I'm going to protect you from here and always, and he really, he doesn't even know how much Eddie has protected him. And, no more secrets, but of course the kid keeps a secret that he's got these powers, and they kind of, he wants to know about his mother, and that brings a tear literally to Eddie's eyes as they walk off together. That's great. Yay! Happy moment, right? And, dark times to come. But the big part of this is Maker's story, the alternate Reed Richards, and what his plans are, and where this is all headed. Because this is the fascinating, this is the fun, this is the stuff that really gets me, because we talk about not just what Maker's plans are, but, like, it has to do with the symbiotes and why they spawn, right? So this made me think of it, because he talks about it just as I'm thinking it. So all the codices were absorbed by Venom, and that sets everything back. And then he sees Dylan, and this makes him think. And I love the look of him without the helmet on. He's so gross looking with that just huge brain growth with the hair kind of partially coming out of his head. It's just, like, it just makes me wonder by the end of this book, like, they took one look at him and went, yeah, he's normal. We don't need to keep an eye on this guy. But he talks about how everybody thought that the symbiote spawned at random. And that, he's like, through my research, I have come to believe the spawning is triggered by a kind of shared sense of oncoming danger that will require them to bolster their numbers. A sort of collective unconscious response to an almost precognitive ability to sense seismic shifts in their environment. So, or perhaps more worrying, of impending danger to the hive. So he talks about how when Cletus Cassidy came about, it was when Thanos was looking for the Infinity Stones. And then when Toxin came out, it was after the Avengers disassembled and there was darkness and war. Then Scorn and Raze came through cataclysmic events. Then Scorn was before the Chaos War, and Raze before the Second Superhuman Civil War. And then Sleeper, right when all this started happening. Sleeper being Dylan. Also, they talk about how he was part of a symbiote and a human, a piece of the original alien combined with a living human fetus. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we all kind of figured, or at least most of us probably figured already. So it's interesting that, like, animals reacting to, like, an earthquake or something like that, in a way, all right? Like how they know danger's coming. The symbiote reacts in a certain way that we didn't fully understand. It appears Maker kind of does. And makes him wonder, what kind of danger are we really in if this is happening now? And so, I mean, this is a quick review, but it's really good. But we also find out he's talking to somebody, right? We don't know who it is. And I was like, well, I kind of figured who it was, but I just didn't want to be too presumptuous. I was being very just patient and waiting to get to the end of the book. But we find out he's trying to get back to his original universe, But he also finds out that in his last attempt, something came through. And though severely damaged, the symbiote from my original universe is still very much intact. So, a Venom from his universe is here now. And he sees that it can travel through the rifts between the universe without suffering any kind of side effects. And if they can repair it, will he be able, this person's asking if he can travel to his universe without harm or injury to his psyche, and that, you know, we find out he's talking to the Council of Reeds, which is pretty much what I thought it was going to be, which is pretty interesting. The Council of Reeds, though, see, I was like, why would they deal with this guy? Boom, next page, answered question, thank you. However, Maker, your acceptance into this gathering was predicated upon the idea that you could restore your homeworld. No Reed on this council stands on a broken universe. No Reed on this council has failed. Can you do it? Once returned to your homeworld, can you bring it back? It will be difficult, perhaps even bloody, but ultimately, yes. I don't know why they would trust this guy. He looks like a... Looks can be deceiving, sure. Maybe the Reeds are trying to look past it, but their combined intellect should tell them, no, man, no. I think we need somebody to step in and like help this guy out. Like get the Reed from this universe to do something about it and help him out, because Maker on his own, man, he's just a mad scientist. And I don't know, like I just don't understand why the councils of Reed would do that, but that's the big takeaway from this book. It doesn't really further, it gives some really great insight into the symbiotes and why they are created. It gives us foreshadowing into the character of Dylan. It makes us give a very interesting arc for Maker. This is the pretty much conclusion to Absolute Carnage now, right? We're moving on now to Venom Island. That's going to be drawn by Mark Bagley. Hopefully the story's good. It's Donnie, so I think the story's going to be fine. I'm not going to like the art very much. When he did some of the stuff that was in Absolute Carnage #5, which I feel like is just... Absolute Carnage is fine. It's better than War of the Realms. It's only 5 issues. The tie-ins weren't all pointless. Most of them were. It was drawn really well. But otherwise, you know, like I stopped caring about like, oh, I need this and I need that and all the others and stuff. I just was like, oh, I'm not paying for... I did the same thing with War of the Realms, man. I just stopped buying books. I wasn't buying all the tie-ins and everything else by like halfway through that series. So the same happened there. But nice epilogue to this book. A nice jumping off point for new storylines, new arcs. I'm fascinated by Maker. I don't know if anybody else is. But I'm really digging his storyline, even though he's creepy as hell. So, here's the looking forward to Venom Island, starting in issue number 21. So if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, notifications, Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving. Up next is The Irishman, the Martin Scorsese movie that's now on Netflix. So, we'll see you then.